It's time for House to Home on your radio. House to Home, where you'll hear from local people who turn houses into homes across the inland Northwest, and how you can too. House to Home is brought to you in part by your friends at Rada Paint and Avista. Here's your host, Clyde Hawsey.
And welcome aboard with us today. And I really say thank you for Avista and for Tom to come in and join us here today. Tom, we've done this before.
We have, Clyde.
And we have more of this to be talking about again, don't we?
Yeah, and I can't wait. Just a little bit we've talked over the phone. I'm excited.
Well, you know, Tom is not new to this whole complete program. Tom is the Chief Engineering Energy.
It's hard to say, isn't it, Clyde? It's
the
Chief Energy Efficiency Engineer.
Okay, you've got the whole story now. Now we've got the whole thing. Tom, you know, we were talking about on the phone, and we were saying, you know, what do we talk about? Because a lot of these things we all know about. But it's that time of the year, and we're going to say, folks, you know, we have been enjoying some warm weather. But now it's time to be thinking about...
Well, moving out of the warm into the cold, but also we still have heat that we're putting up with. So
okay,
maybe we could work our way from hot into what you do to get ready.
Well, okay, I understand that one, but we have to go one step and back to right now. It's warm out there. What can we do that's going to help us being energy efficient, as the engineer would say?
Well, there's a lot of things that we can do. What we did when we were kids was they'd get us up early when the weather was
rise and shine
colder outside. It was 50 to 60 degrees. They'd have us open all the windows, and we'd let the air come in, and then before 7 o'clock, we would shut them all back down, pull all the drapes, and we'd start our day with a cool house.
So close them around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Whatever the weather will tell you.
That's correct.
Okay.
So now you have, at least you've gotten a little leverage on the heat because you haven't waited for it to be hot in the morning before you've opened your windows.
Well, let me ask this question. How efficient and how effective are fans? You know, floor fans, ceiling fans, are these a real positive thing? I mean, let's just talk about basics now.
Sure. Physics will tell us that the warmer we get, the more we may perspire. And when we perspire and then we use a mechanical fan to blow air across us, it causes us to feel way cool because you're actually taking that water off your skin and making it do some really good work for you. So there are real advantages to using fans in your house or just to keep air moving in your home, even if it's just your furnace fan, keeping it turned on high so that the air's moving around and you can feel that air moving.
Okay, so what he's saying is that if you have a central heating system as gas or electric, turn that fan on and leave it run, 24 hours a day?
Well, no, while you're around. Because
while you're around?
Yeah, when you're in the house and you want to feel a little bit cooler, turn it on. Otherwise, you probably want to just let the air stratify. That's a big word we use.
That is, it's like your name. Okay, stratify. Okay, we'll deal with that one. Okay, so let's go and look forward now. You know, it can almost be as expensive to keep your home cool as it does to keep it warm, right?
You can. In fact, there's a lot of similarities. If you don't have insulation in your attic, the heat will come in just as easily as the cold does in the wintertime. And so if you're having trouble right now and you're feeling too hot, you maybe want to take a look at your home because it probably is the harbinger of the fact that you may get too cold once it starts getting colder.
Okay, my next question, and my wife and I, we are always discussing this, or we're having topics about it. Gee, it's too cold. What do you mean, honey? I'm so sweating. You know, everybody has to adjust that. What are you laughing about? You got the same issue?
No.
Yes, dear.
The bad Tommy
yes
will put a fake thermostat up and really that's just something you're going to have to work out with each other because you're probably only going to get one setting.
Right.
And it's best to make it as conservative as possible. So if you want to keep your energy use down, try to make that setting something that's not going to use more energy.
Okay, in making that setting, you shouldn't do it as soon as you walk in the door. You should let your body cool down and become accustomed to what's going on before you adjust it, if you want to adjust it downward.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. It seems to me, and this is just my personal experience, but in the summertime, I can handle the temperature inside the house getting up to 76 or 77 when I know it's 95 outside.
Yes.
Because it's still a big difference between what's outside and in. And I learned to take it. Where I have a hard time is at night.
I know.
I just really have a tough time at night. So I save all my cooling that I'm going to do in my home for nighttime when I want to sleep. And I'll take a little bit more heat and sweating a little bit more before I've gone to bed, because I think the key is use that energy when it's going to do you the most value and make the most good for you.
You know, I think the real positive thing, folks, is what he's saying is that do save that energy, and we mean spending the money to buy that energy, that coolness, when you really will count, and that's when you are going to rest or sleep. And I think that is so important. Now, you made one other comment just ahead of that, was saying that, you know, keeping the coolness of the home is almost like keeping it warm. Both of them run side by side or parallel to each other. So if you've got drafts or windows that are not quite cool, closed and so forth, they play a big, big part in whatever you're trying to do, right?
They do. A couple things that I want to point out. One is that the attic has a big part. It plays a large part in heating your home when it's hot outside. And you need to be having air flowing through the attic over top of the really great insulation you have up there. And a lot of times people think that it's best for them to stuff up the soffits so that the air won't go through, because somehow that'll make it better. But whether it's winter or summer, it's very okay to have the air flowing through your attic, because it won't have an effect on you losing too much heat. It will really hurt you in the summertime if you've plugged up the attic and made it into this vessel that just heats the rest of your house.
Okay, so what you're saying is that if you've made measures in the wintertime to control the heat, and so that the ceiling, as heat rises, as we all know, you didn't want it to get away. Well, now it's time to let it move, is what you're saying. You have to move things.
That's right.
Okay.
In fact, there are really nice systems in place with solar-powered fans that you can put in your attic, and when the temperature gets a certain temperature in the attic, it just turns on the fan and it evacuates the air and keeps that air at a right temperature. They're not horribly expensive, but oftentimes they can really lower the load, the heat load on your home.
Are they energy efficient enough that it's not a negative to the bill?
Fans aren't a huge load anyway. So I think what you have to balance is, can I get enough cooling in my attic so that I'm not turning on the air conditioner or not as much? And then that's when you will make some kind of a savings. Those attic fans can be driven by normal electricity if you want to. You don't have to get a solar one, and they're not all that expensive. But really, point is, make sure that you're not making a pop bottle out of your attic and storing up a bunch of heat.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the most important part that you really are saying, is that understand your home. And a home being healthy means that it can breathe and expand and adjust to the season as your needs would also be within the house itself. As we begin to look forward to, and like I say, we're talking about the summertime, but looking forward to, and I'm right now I'm saying, gosh, it wouldn't be too bad if it was a little bit cooler out there. But the issue is we will have a change of the weather coming up, and we need to be looking ahead of what can we be doing for this coming winter. If we've identified some things, and especially window caulking, sealants around the window, some wrapping, which you shouldn't be doing yet.
Why did you have me here?
Well,
you know,
I need help.
All right, Clyde.
See, my wife gave me a list, and she said, "You ask Tom if we're on the right track."
I think the important point that you're bringing up is that right now, caulk will stick to the surfaces around your window. If you wait until November, when you know you have a problem, it might be too cold for that caulk to do a very good job of sticking. So I think a reason to work on your house now is that it's going to accept all the changes you're doing to it, whether it's painting or caulking or windows. And maybe you don't put a storm on right now, but you may be measuring it and fitting it so that you can have a storm window ready for the winter.
Well, you're planning ahead, and I know we're going to be talking to Rod of Paint, and they kind of tie into this whole thing. And the issue is you have to start preparing the home ahead for that change of the weather. You know, we're really blessed in Spokane. We have 4 seasons of the year. And we need to really take advantage of them and don't let one slide by because it affects the other one. And right now, it's the preparedness. And do we need to go do the shopping list of walking around the home and doing the inventory of what's going on?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. If you have a friend or a neighbor, I really recommend that you do each other's homes. It's funny how a person that you trust can see things that you walk right past. So buddy up, find somebody that you trust, and start doing each other's homes to see if you can find things to do.
Well, we're going to take a quick break here, Tom. We're going to come back because I know Avista will even come out and talk to you as a group and share on some ideas. So we're going to take a quick break at this time, Tom. We're going to come back, and we're going to lead you into that conversation.
Last year alone, Avista customers saved over 53 million kilowatt hours of energy. How? By caulking their windows, programming their thermostats, replacing their incandescent light bulbs with LEDs. Simple things, really. But the energy they saved was enough to power more than 4,000 homes for an entire year. Way to save, everyone. Way to save. Find your way to save at avistautilities.com.
Hi, this is Kurt Stockwell with Well Dressed Walrus. We are a local website design and development company here in Spokane. What we do is build beautiful, usable websites for local businesses. A website needs to be beautiful, it needs to be usable for your users, your customers, and yourself. Contact us anytime. We'd love to talk with you about your online marketing.
To help you be safe, Washington state law requires you to call 811 2 full business days before you plan, for example, to dig, drill, plow, pull from, or pound anything into the ground.
Hit me up when
Be
you come on.
prepared to provide the operator with the correct address, cross street, and the description of your work. You must mark the dig area with white paint. The operator will inform you of the utilities notified of your impending excavation. Wait for all their marks. Be safe and dig with care.
And welcome back, folks. We're here with Avista and Tom Leonard. He is the Chief Energy Efficient Officer over at Avista. And Tom, you have so many great ideas. And of course, when we took the break, I kind of led you into that one. And I hope I'm not saying too much, but if a neighborhood or a group of people in the neighborhood wanted to get together and they gave Tom a call or his office a call and say, hey, can you come out and let's walk around our homes and see what we can do? Would you folks show up?
You bet. If we have several people who want to get together and learn about stuff, we're more than happy to do it. We have energy vans that go out and help people, and we have energy fairs that are posted, and you can come to those as well. But if you have a group and you want to get together and learn something or just talk about things, we'll be happy to do it. We don't have the resources to go one-on-one with every residential customer, but we're more than happy to help multiple people if you have
Well, you know, when these block parties are taking place in the summertime, and maybe you could be part of the entertainment afterwards and how to save some dollars so they can afford to heat their home this coming year.
I hope they like my singing.
That's good, Tom. Well, you know, and folks, you will have a great time when Tom does come, or one of your staff people, because you're there to help the people to save money. And I think that's a very important part. The first part of the program, we talked about summertime, and we're kind of in the middle of part of that right now. And we're going into a part that we say is wintertime or fall. We did also lead to the point that it's now time to start doing some of these repairs. And do you want to elaborate a little bit more on that one besides the caulking around the windows?
Well,
checking things?
Yeah, obviously, one of the things that's happening right now is that we've had a lot of fires in our area, and you know more than I do about landscape, but it's really important to make a green area around your home so that you're safer. And so now is the time to keep that small green areas so that you can keep your home safe from that standpoint. Probably there's some work to be done. My friend who's a landscape architect might be able to help me know what some things might need to be done to some of my plants starting about now.
Well, I'm going to go back to the point, and I'm just going to lead on, and thank you for the lead into that one. When you're talking about having the windows open in the mornings and so forth, let it cool down, let your home cool down in the summertime. I'm a very strong advocate, and I worked with Ozzy Knesevich in regards to the safety at home, and it's very important in front of your windows that you have at ground level. Maybe even have like a red barberry or a shrub that's not real easy to climb around, and especially if somebody wanted to look in the window or be close to it. I mean, make it difficult, make it more challenging, but plant a plant that is going to be a little bit not real easy, not soft to walk around, so that you can have these windows for security. And I'm back to the security part, Tom.
Well, I think that's a wonderful point, because in order to have a fulfilled life, we have to feel like we can be here without
we can enjoy it.
Any concern.
You bet. And you opened the door on me. I'm going to say also plant that shade tree where you need some shade, right, in that hot summer?
Right. Think 20 years ahead if you need to. On the south and west sides, where during the summertime, sun can't go through those leaves, but in the winter, they're not there, and they can heat your home. So now's the time to be thinking about that. And a lot of people do think about their landscaping now because it's easy to think about. But having a forward-thinking plan is really a great thing to do.
Well, what Tom is saying along that same lines, and you picked up on it, I did anyway, you said a leaf tree, and that's primarily, I'm not talking about a blue spruce, that's a conifer, we're talking about a leaf tree, so that you can get that shade in the summertime and sun exposure in the wintertime, right?
That's correct.
Because we want to pull it in. So we need to be looking at those things and identifying what are your needs. And again, one thing I really harp on all the time is that, these cute little puppies that you and I can handle and put in the back of our pickup, and we bring them home and say, isn't that a cute tree? We don't realize that 20 to 30 years down the road, it could be an ugly dog, and it can be big. So we better understand how big it's going to grow, right?
Right. So if you want to plant 5 in a row, understand that you may have to pull out every other one after a certain time, because they really need a diameter radius of 25 or 30 feet rather than just the 10 feet you put them apart.
Well, you kind of got me, because on the first time you said, well, it sounds like you've been asking some questions. You asked me some questions too, because I think you've planted a few too many trees in one spot, you said one time.
I did.
Yeah. Well, Tom is really good on energy efficiency, but the point being, we all have our expertise, and the point that I want to bring out is ask questions. Bring it all together. Okay, wintertime. Just because, again, I got to get into winter a little bit here, Tom. What special needs do we have to begin thinking about now? Insulation, I'll lead you on.
Absolutely. One of the lowest cost ways we can stop heat from leaving our home is insulation, especially the attic. And if you're short on it, that's a very nice way for you to add to your ability to keep the heat in your home.
And how do you find that answer?
Well, I think one thing you can do is open the door that goes up into your attic, stick a ruler down into your insulation, and if there's less than 10 inches there, you might want to add a little bit more.
Can you have too much? Am I leading you on?
Honestly, there are diminishing returns.
Right.
But if you have less than 6 inches of attic insulation and it's loose fill, whatever you put on top of that is going to be a huge benefit. But while you're already in the process of putting it on, it's probably not going to cost you much to go from R11 or 12 to R50 instead of just going from R11 to R28.
Now, with that being said, Tom, when you get towards the edges where the eave vents are at, that doesn't mean you cover them up.
No, and we already talked about this. We need air going through our attic all the time, even in the winter. And so they make little blocks, if you're doing this work yourself, that you can put those blocks in so that that insulation doesn't fall over and block your soffit vents. But if you have somebody do it, make sure that their plan is that they're going to protect all the venting and the gable vents or the roof vents.
Okay. Can I ask this question, and I haven't even talked to you about this ahead of time. If someone wants to get more information about some things to do, or the wife is listening to us this afternoon and says, I'm going to start making a list for honey to do, And my point, can they go to the website of Avista and get a beginning list of things?
Of course, if you'll go to myavista.com
Okay.
and look in energy savings, you'll see a couple different pages helping you with energy savings tools, tips, advice, how to do things. In fact, you'll see my picture there.
Well, that was some time ago, wasn't it, Tom?
Well, no, we just got a new website that you need to go to because it is
wow.
ultra cool. I mean, it doesn't matter what device you go to with it. If you go with an iPhone, it'll size up right for you and everything. I'm so impressed with the people in our company who help make this work because it is very nice website. But the point is, you should be able to do a search once you get into energy savings and possibly find your question. But my picture got increased in size.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Well, I know. I'm impressed. I really am. I have a question. I'm back to my own home.
Okay.
I have an addition that was put on my home, and I have a crawl space. And crawl spaces are really a very important thing to understand in your home. Am I correct?
You bet.
And I know we're going to do another segment of this program about remodeling, but what are the things I should be looking for energy saving within the crawl space?
Well, crawl space isn't much different than the attic area. You probably should have insulated your floor and still have, sometimes the crawl spaces aren't concrete.
True.
And so it's really a good idea to have air flowing through there because you don't want them to pick up moisture and start stinking and stuff.
Or mildew.
Or mildew, yeah. That can hurt your whole house.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, the first feeling of people is, I'm just going to stuff everything full of things so that cold air can't get down there. The proper answer is insulate the floor so that cold air can't come up through the floor, and then let some air flow through there.
I know in my own home, I've even put a small vent fan on a timer. It comes on every other day for 10 minutes and moves the air within this and pulls it and takes it outward.
Yep.
Isn't that a genius idea?
You are a genius.
No, I was lucky because I didn't want mildew. It is terrible to have mildew, and I've never had it, but it can be a tough one to get rid of, is my point.
Yeah, many people are absolutely afraid of mold and all the issues that are surrounding it. So you have to be very careful in your attempt to not use energy for heating in not stopping the flow of air in and out of your house. You have to, there are systems in place. If you really have too tight of a home, there are energy recovery ventilators that allow you to recover the energy that you're pushing outside before you do it. So you can put those things in and still get air in and out of your house.
So there is testing that we can do. I know you and I have done a couple of TV programs. We even talked about the fireplaces and so forth and see where those drafts are going. And I feel that that's tests that can happen, right?
Well, and that's a really good thing to talk about before winter. That is, if you've got a fireplace, right now is the time to make sure that when that damper's closed, no air comes through, because there are people who have fireplaces that use more heat than they ever would have if they hadn't had a fireplace at all, because the heat's just sucked out of their home through the stack effect of a warped damper.
So what he's saying is check the damper to make sure that it is working correctly.
That's correct.
And if you want to really check it in the summertime or in the winter, if you're gone for a period of time, you even put something up there like even a flag to let you know that answer, right?
Right. And if it's too expensive to fix the damper, they make little balloons that can go up into your stack, and you inflate it, and nothing can go past it. I mean, you don't want to build a fire once you've put an inflated balloon up there, but that will stop everything from going up. They also have rooftop dampers, if you want, that you can put on too. But those are ways for you to make sure that you're not losing all your heat through the stack effect.
Well, when we talk about construction on the next program, I want to be talking about some of that, because we need to be really aware of many different avenues of our home and their needs and how to repair them. Let's just recap a little bit, if we could, on this one, Tom. Basically, for information, they can get hold of you at?
myavista.com.
Okay. And what is the website? I mean, beyond that, is there anything else that we need to?
There, on the top bar, you'll find energy savings, and when
Okay,
you
that's what I was
hover
after.
over it, it'll show you several ways that you can help.
And primarily, you like to see the conversation begin online before anybody calls?
Well, I'm way happy talking to anybody who wants to, but if the answer is there for them already, that's really
And they can do it on their own time,
Yeah.
that way. Okay. And so as we look forward to, what is the timing that we should be preparing for getting into the wintertime preparation? It should be starting now with our list, and the preparations of actually physically doing it should be taking place within the next 2 months, I would assume.
Yeah, I would think so, because what I look
October
at,
be done.
I look at winter or heating months from, at a minimum, Halloween to April Fools.
Okay, that's good, real good point. Okay, so with that in mind, we have a lot of things to be taken care of immediately. And I want to throw in one other one that needs to be looked at, and that is the rain gutters. We need to get those ready to go for the wintertime, because that can affect ice buildup on and within the roof itself, or even being backed into the home, right?
That's true.
So, any other energy savings ideas that we can talk about here before we bring it to the end, shall we say?
Just understand there's new technologies out that you can put into your home that will help you, like smart thermostats that can know if you're there or not. There's all kinds of little things that can help you if you feel like you're not in full control of your energy use.
Well, I'm never in full control, so I guess I do need help all the time. And I want to say thank you ever so much for Avista sending you out to help us. And the other point is, folks, have a neighborhood get-together. And let's have Tom or one of his staff walk around and let's just talk about each one of our needs. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
And that can be for inside or outside, right?
That's right.
And in some cases, if we have certain incentives at Avista that's going to say, hey, we're going to help you with some windows, or we're going to help you with heating, those are available, again, online, if we can find that out.
At myavista.com, you'll find all the incentives and rebates that we have to offer you too.
And they do change quite often.
They do.
I mean, it's changing with the weather, shall we say. And I'm also going to say, if you're planting trees, it's now not the time. It's just too hot out there. So let's look forward to, as Tom was saying, bringing it in to the fall time. Folks, and I want to say thank you for joining us. And Tom, it's always a pleasure, because you have all these answers. And I'll go home tonight and I'll tell my wife everything I know.
Well, thank you,
Until next time, I'm Clyde Hossie. See you next time on House to Home.
House to Home with Clyde Hossie is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content. Ask Clyde a question, recommend a guest, and hear this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksOnline.com. House to Home is brought to you each week by Avista and Rada Paint. You can turn your house into a home. We're here to help. Thanks for listening to Spokane Talks Online.
When it comes to adding long-lasting color to your world, let Rada Paint give you a hand. It'll be a snap with Rada Paint's quality coatings, vast color choices, and plenty of painting supplies. Visit your local Spokane Rada Paint stores today, or go online to radapaint.com. That's radapaint.com.
Rada Paint. Finish right.
Last year alone, Avista customers saved over 53 million kilowatt hours of energy by taking advantage of rebates from Avista. Like 15 cents a square foot for new attic insulation, $35 for installing a smart thermostat, or $2,300 for switching from electric to natural gas heat. And all that savings reduced carbon emissions by more than 18,000 tons. Way to save, everyone. Way to save. Find your way to save at avistautilities.com.